Mike, we got the advisory there. We're lifting off. We'll be headed to Lone Gull also. And we're airborne this time. Don't hit those boats out there, Barry. Not much. They got a real early start there. Yep, like working for the government. Try to get back down to AOL.
Kaima tamana kanukyo ngwan ngawak sigit takli kinak takpi tamani nungu itoalo tamani kinik talik tugun kinik bigiya to kami to ailakapti umikinak taksuwa kinik talik tugun ma kapsini kyo nik takwa ni pilirelak 1973 mi pilirigia lak magalak tunga 1982 mi pilirig nilak himayo ma taima kanukyo yak kata tigingin ilitsiballaalak korpin ilitsiballaagal naagaluartunga taikku aqinigaulluavi miartuk aqinni taapsuminga peqangillunga nuitakpata ilitariulluga maalaqqaw ma kanukya qaaqarayartuiarpa taima takunayaruvi taikkuning aqinigaawi taqqakuyoqqayarlutik qoqsoqqayagayaarlutik ingmata taikku atauhiugali taikua tigingi naming mata taim na unak naragaw yung unak yung naragaw koksulluring nakhamay taim uyak kanil lupa takun nakayakubba lupa tamani nunami makakalong miluni hiokak miluni kanukekwa taot tukakayak tamani makakalong mikiyugaya nangamakami takumiak na kayong naktupihian na kiniutin tamat ko nakihian nuitani itong matamatuma nunatatlo ikirahan niya katami yung mata dahil ako ni miyak to kinagtala kami tamani ang iyublat to kami nagpakimaling ilahi tama nakikitakyali yung kangyan nagpaki malagalak tuwa matamaan tama nakan nami wala asanin naniyaw yung kalawak apan kaya nagpaki ati naniyugalo mikiyu na huli. Yani natwaki madarangap tatia nagaya pilak pagtugot pihuya miyak pagkalawak tugot natwaki mangitsarangan dahil nananihibig po natwaki madarangap tamani avatani kinilok-ilok pagsita hanat tayo lima kung niluktaran dahil nananiyawot avatiluktaran kinilok pagtugot kinatwakan ninyo tayo nakakataalam mo nuli hakpagsuta. Eric ukpachiko takwani tamani hunani kinaktakpihi.
What do you mean?
Tamani hunani iko tak mga apsi.
Uranium kinaktakpihi.
Kanok tayo matay ko watsa mo yaw talok tununat iko tao biluani. Tayo manamong out siya tarak niya.
Tamani Long Lake ni laboratory ngano.
Kawi hakwe ni.
Kawi hakot sa matik. Ilanga malakong manik. Malakong ni tigo hita. Ya. Nakata Long Lake mo ako ni pakata Toronto mo ako ni. Kawi hakot ako dig Long Lake ni ako kaya Toronto mita. Kawi hakot ni.
Ma tayo mali kawi hakangap si pitakaktak pataman na uranium.
Ilanik
na takang ngimiyak ni. Tayo maimat na lobby ka Eric.
They've now reached down as far as they can get and they're pulling it out to extract the sample from the bottom end of the sampler. You see the sample in the bottom of the rod, and it'll now be taken out to be put into a bag and sent for analysis. There's one bag there, a second sample from the same rod, and those two samples will be sent to the lab, the laboratory, chemical laboratory, where it will be established whether there's any uranium in the soil.
Yeah.
Now tamani khawya
na tayo makawi how to ipanim ya touch
tapani khangani
ma okay.
Because this method, it's a geophysical method, it's called max-min, and it's a simply electromagnetic method. We have here, as you see, this coil, which is the transmitter, and over there is the receiver, and these two persons are connected by this cable, and we put electric current on this cable, and then we measure the difference between the field, electromagnetic field, which is going into these rock sequences. All right.
This is now a place where we are drilling for uranium ore. We are doing diamond core drilling, and the driller just got a run out, and we all can have a look what it's looking like. Here we see how the core is coming out of the ground. We are now checking for mineralization in the core. This is core which was taken out and drilled this morning, and we have to make many more drill holes to define whether we really have sizable uranium up here in this area. We split this core and send half of the samples down to Toronto to get it assayed, and only then we know what amount of uranium is in these rocks.
What's up? Taudulaawin. Haggak tamiaqtum. Qanoqtaima qawinnak tarniaq patamanna taakkuagluuba malqutuangunak tamanna luktaamiaqluuba haggaqtarluu qawihaqniaq qanoangitiigmanga. Taima qiniqqaarlutapit inna watsa qawilaangni. Taikataina qanit qotatnaun. Ammalu nanitsareettuttuin. Ma qanimeattuarlutakihaapit taqattaat upingaalukta. Qanorema. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Ila qaminaatu qayungmata. Qawihautarallaqpilli. Taikaatulla qawihautinnaaq qannoq pihulurautipluuluuva qineriartarpit. Ja, pihulurautipluuluuva qineriartartuun. Taima pitjuuqtippallialeraanga tunaahautiнгит haggarpalliattarlutin. Ja. Imma ippasaani taapilaarmuyugunalla. Takvanga pitjuunersartarakkannaqpatamaana tamaani qaniplang minanikya. Ja, pitaqaarmuyu nanilua naakia. Kihaani maana tikkuanaayoaku. Apsimaraluujartarmata. Imma taimaluupa qiniqlugu katitinniluujartakkahiluupa taima naniyahe qiniqtarluakunningan. Uatsa ihumatainna uqalluisa qawilaaqut. Qanoranna uqalaaqtuala mikiluaraangataguuq ihumaya kihiani taamnali pitguyupla tuyaaqmatamaani. Ja, tamaani pitaqarnal realluaviwalua. Yeah, I am mining now.
He's our first miner.
Right. And I'm looking for gold. How about uranium? Oh, that too.
He doesn't mind finding that as well.
5,000. Yeah, it went up a bit.
Oh, yeah.
6,000 now.
6,000 already.
When you say 6,000 or 5,000, 3,000, does that mean your 3,000 feet above uranium? Or
No, there's nothing to do with speed.
It indicates,
Just the intensity of radiation.
Oh, I see.
it just tells you how much there is in the rock,
Radiation.
you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we are here in the middle of the Longal mineralization. That's a place where Longal was actually discovered in the course of a helicopter radiometric survey. We were flying, and during the course of this flying we discovered with our instrument we can find here on the ground yellow secondaries of uranium minerals. The ground with the yellow colors.
What's in here now? I mean,
These are mineralized rocks, slightly mineralized rocks. They are altered.
What?
That is a so-called scintillometer. It measures uranium, just the presence of mineralization. And this stone shows me whether I have lots or not so much uranium. So we are coming closer to the showing. Here the ground is covered with soil, the readings are lower, but as soon as we approach these lighter areas, the readings are going higher up. Here are they in the order of 5,000 counts. The tone is even going higher, and this is about the center of the mineralization. We can find here on the ground yellow secondaries of uranium minerals. I'm switching now to a less sensitive scale, and we read here counts in the range of 14,000 counts. This is the only place in the whole area where uranium mineralization comes to surface. If we are going just a short area to the side, we won't get any response. Here we measuring the mineralization with a scintillometer, and here we measure uranium gas in the air. In this place we have installed a cup, and within this cup is a sensitive film, and all radiation goes in this cup and is recorded on the film, and we can then ship out this film and get processed, and we can get from this idea of the concentration of the uranium in the air and in the soil. It makes little scratches on a film, but you can't see it. You can only get it with these detectors, or you can make it visible or hearable with scintillometers.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And my name is Mick Stewart. I'm the Executive Vice President of Uranga Cellshaft Canada Limited. This is a subsidiary, a wholly owned subsidiary of a West German company of the same name. It's a rather difficult name because it's a German name. So we usually call ourselves UG for short, and it's easier for Canadians and most people who are not Germans to pronounce it. So we'll call ourselves UG, and you'll know that that means Uranga Cellshaft. Mr. Knorr, let me say we're not operating a mine here. I wish we were. We haven't got to that stage yet.
Yeah, what I meant was
okay,
just to...
I understand. I just wanted to point out that what we're operating here is an exploration program, and that is certainly in itself a very expensive business. We have, because of the location that we're in the Northwest Territories, we have long distances to travel, and we have very little communications, and we therefore have to use equipment such as helicopters and float planes to do all our transportation, so that operating an exploration program, which is always expensive, is particularly expensive under the conditions we have here. To give you an idea, we are spending on about 5 projects in the Northwest Territories this year about $3 million. That's about the total of the budget which will be spent on these programs this year.
Okay, how many non-natives do you hire per year, and along with the natives as well?
Well, the group that we have in our various camps this year is approximately 45 to 50 people in total of the UG group, and of that group we've employed this year about 12 or 13 Inuit people. Mm-hmm. So you could say roughly 25% of the UG people that we have are Inuit. Unfortunately, it's difficult for us to keep people, local people, working continuously here. We find that they like to go back to town after a period of time, and so we get a considerable number of people coming for a short period of time and then going away and being replaced by other people. But we've employed about 25%, as I've said, of Inuit people this year, and this is about the order of what we usually employ.
Okay, what kind of a mineral do you particularly explore around?
Well, as you know, our company is searching for uranium minerals, and to give your viewers an idea, we're really finding or trying to find rocks which contain some concentration of uranium. Uranium, like many other minerals, is found very extensively through the rocks in very small quantities. But what we're looking for is where there's a concentration in sufficient amount to give us the possibility of an economic deposit, and that's really what we're looking for here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you find uranium material, or what techniques do you use in order to find uranium around here?
Well, Mr. Noor, as you know, we have been around trying to show you this afternoon some of the techniques that we use, and I hope that the footage that you've shot today will help your viewers to understand a little better what methods we use. Mm-hmm. Basically, there are methods which involve sampling the soils, measuring for small quantities of uranium, which may give us an indication of a deposit underneath. There are geophysical methods. These are methods such as electrical and magnetic testing of the rocks to establish whether they have certain features which are favorable for the accumulation of minerals such as uranium. And very often it's the finding of these special circumstances, geological circumstances, that guide us to a mineral deposit. And shall we say, the last system we use are what we call scintillometers, which measure the effect of radioactive minerals such as uranium. We can detect them by the level of radioactive radiation which comes from the minerals themselves, and we have delicate instruments which can react and measure small quantities of radiation.
Now, could you tell me what do you use uranium for, or after it's being refined?
Well, I would like to be very specific about this, Mr. Noor. The policy of our company, and indeed it's contained within the statutes of our parent company, the West German company, of which we are a subsidiary, and therefore guides us, that any of the uses of uranium will be strictly for peaceful purposes. And I think I would like to emphasize this to your viewers, because occasionally it has been suggested that any uranium found would be used in the production of atomic bombs. Our statutes positively forbid that, and I would also point out that the Canadian government pardon me, there are a lot of flies around this afternoon, Mr. Noor, so your viewers will have to excuse us. These are hazards of the exploration business, of which you're very familiar. What I was about to say was that the Canadian government has very stringent regulations to ensure that, first of all, that any uranium produced here is used only for peaceful purposes, and that any exported only goes to countries which have essentially made commitments, firm commitments, that those products, the uranium concentrates or whatever form, the uranium produced in Canada may be used. It has to be exclusively for peaceful uses, and the main use is for the production of nuclear energy.